You watched another tutorial yesterday because you saw a thumbnail with a striped dashboard held up to the camera, claiming $30,000 a month from an AI agency they built in 2 weeks. It didn't get you anywhere, so you're here now. Or maybe it did get you started on something, and like the others before it, you didn't finish. The decision to start probably came from one of those thumbnails, $30,000 a month, built in a weekend. The person started chasing the result instead of checking whether the project actually fit them. When the work got hard, the inspiration ran out because it was never theirs to begin. I've been combating the same indecision throughout my 2-decade career in tech. This isn't something new, and I found ways to figure it out each time to get me where I am today, leading multiple programs developing AI models at Google. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 exercises that have helped me figure out which path to start when there are too many options on the table. There is a lot of advice out there on what to build with AI and how to build it. That's fine if you want to experiment with someone else's vision. I really doubt you're after that. These exercises I'm going to cover will give you just enough clarity for the version you'd build for your ambitions, not somebody else's. 3 exercises from people who've thought about problems like these for years. There are 3 different angles on the same question. Use one or use all 3, whichever lands for you. The first exercise is Yearning Octopus. It comes from Tim Urban's article called How to Pick a Career That Actually Fits You. Urban's idea is that everyone has a yearning octopus inside their head with 5 tentacles. Each wants something different. They just don't get along. For practicality, we'll call them 5 drives a person could have in this video. For someone trying to build with AI, the 5 drives could be personal, which means making something that means something to you. Social, respect from others. Lifestyle, freedom from a day job. Or moral, helping people, having an impact. And finally, practical, making money, paying the bills. Different drives want different things. For example, the respect drive picks an app because peers see apps. The lifestyle drive picks something that runs without them because the goal is freedom, not more hours. The moral drive picks a problem you can't ignore. The practical drive picks a service because services pay this month. When the drive and the project don't match, the work stalls around week 3. Not because the project is bad, because it never fulfilled the drive that started it. You're probably asking, how do you know which drive is at the top? The answer is simple. You use what's already in your head. Pick an AI project you thought about. Maybe one you almost started. Ask which one of the 5 drives is actually pulling you toward it. Not the one that sounds best, but the one that actually did the pulling. If no project comes to mind at all, ask the question in reverse. Why hasn't anything come up? The block usually points at a drive too. For example, I'd look stupid is the social drive. I'd lose money is the practical drive. It wouldn't matter to anyone is the moral drive. That drive is your top one, the honest one. Not the one you'd say out loud to a stranger. Then ask the question Urban insists on. Is this actually yours, or did society hand it to you? The drive that started the project has to be the one that finishes it. Anything else will stall it. The second exercise is the 5-25 rule. It's sometimes attributed to Warren Buffett. Whether he actually said it doesn't matter here. The exercise works. So that's what matters. Write down 25 things you've considered building with AI. Not the 5 you remember today, the 25 you sticky noted, voice memoed, started a doc for, and walked away from. Pick the 5 most important to you. Circle them, cross out the other 20. Crossed out doesn't mean you put them aside in a backlog. It means off the table. Buffett's framing is that they get no attention until the 5 are done. What changes when you cross out 20 is your attention. The brain stops cycling them. The 5 starts getting the focus the whole list was eating up. Now, your top 5 only matters when the other 20 are off the table for good. Remember that. The third exercise is the Napkin test. It is a synthesis of customer development thinking. The idea is simple. If you can fit your project on a napkin and you know one specific person to give it to, that's the project. You have 5 candidates. They all feel real. They all came from your own list, but only one of them is the one you actually start. To find it, you run each through 2 filters. Filter 1 is the napkin itself. Can you describe what this project does in 1 sentence? Not a paragraph. 1 sentence. Short enough to fit on a napkin. If you can't, you don't understand the project well enough to start. Filter 2 is who you would hand the napkin to. Can you name one specific person, by name, who would actually use this? Not a category of people, not a target market. one person you could call right now. The candidate that passes both filters is the one you start. If a candidate fails either filter, it goes back to the dead list. If two candidates pass both, you have a luxury problem. Pick by gut. So, before you start anything, run it through these 3 exercises. If it survives all 3, it's worth your time. If it doesn't, it's the next item in your half started folder. That's how you know what to build for you. A drive that's actually yours. 5 candidates pulled from your own list. 1 project you can fit on a napkin and hand to someone real, not based on someone else's vision, hype, or ambition. If this resonated, give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I also have a newsletter at letters.güneytopçu.com. It goes deeper on building one thing all the way through revenue. I'll see you in the next one.